everybody. I'm Jeannie Cooney, and I am very proud to introduce my friend Toni Collette and Dan Wyllie.
Thank you so much.
And we're going to keep it relatively short because Tony's a little emotional.
Tell everyone.
Well, no, that's what I wanted to ask was, how long
that?
has it been since you've seen the movie?
Probably
And
a couple of decades.
both of you really, I know you said you've seen it recently, but you haven't seen it in a long time. What was that experience like?
Well, it's like there was no time between then and now. So I'm exhausted because I feel like I just relived every emotion. It's very strange. It's so immediate. It just, it goes to show how, I mean, it's still there. I mean, all of the story is just still there. It lives in you. It lives in me.
What about for you, Dan?
Look, the immediacy is right. It's such a classic film, and the humanity of it isn't it just the saddest comedy you've ever seen in your life? It's so bittersweet. It's kind of, on one hand, hilarious, and the other just incredibly harrowing.
So take us back to the beginning, when you got the role. I remember when we talked earlier in my podcast that you had said that you just knew, you had a feeling very, very strongly you were meant to play this role. Can you talk about that?
Okay, so I was at NIDA, which is the National Institute of Dramatic Art, and I had been offered a play directed by Neil Armfield, the great Neil Armfield. It was Uncle Vanya, and I was undecided. It felt so scary to leave drama school and actually go and act. And I said to my agent at the time, I don't want to leave and then do, nothing. I'd done one other film and a couple of plays. What else is hanging around out there? And she said, well, there's this one film. I think you're really right for it. But, it's a long ways off. It's not financed. Anyway, I did leave. And like a year and a half later, I just started kind of thinking, I wonder what she was talking about. I called her, and it was so serendipitous. She said, this is bonkers. They've just called me. It's financed. And you're going to go in and audition. In reading it, I don't know, it was like a religious experience. It really did have a quality of, it was something that was very meant to be in my life. It changed all of our lives. It was a huge, profound, life-giving experience.
What was it like for you, Dan?
Tones and I knew each other from amateur acting classes years before this. We'd done a movie before.
We did our first film together.
First film together.
Spotswood, yeah.
Was that before you went to drama school?
Yeah.
And I got on the dole.
Research.
Look. The script was just such a beautiful story, and so incredibly well told, and so the characters all so uniquely drawn, and the world's kind of so perfect. I don't know. I just auditioned for it. My default position is like a skinny, sunburnt guy, so I kind of weirdly slobbed up and.
Weirdly,
he
was the first person cast, and I was waiting and waiting. It was torture. I finally got the call that I got. I screamed. I got the role. I screamed down the line, and then I called him immediately. We screamed together. He fanged it over to my house in Newtown. I got in the car and we went to Chinatown and pigged out.
Started eating.
We're like, we're in this together, baby. Let's go.
Well, you two have had an incredible friendship over those years. It started before Muriel's, but I'm sure Muriel's kind of cemented it in a way. You were at Dan's wedding. You guys have really been close. What did that come out of Muriel's? Is it just a connection you've had?
Look, we were mates before, so it was just like a little cherry on top.
Yeah.
So you mentioned to me earlier that the first time you realised that Muriel's was going to be this thing, not just even in Australia but everywhere, was when you were in New York the first time you got recognised, which is ironic that we're in New York tonight. So when did that happen, and how did it feel when you realised that this movie that had meant so much to you means so much to everybody else?
There was that moment, but also there was one other moment prior to that, which was the world premiere. I hadn't seen the film, and all of a sudden we're at Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival, jet-lagged out of our minds. Well, you weren't, you'd been in Turkey. And there were maybe a couple of thousand people, and that massive kind of... Am I inflating it? Or it was very big. And again, it was really like reliving it then, and it was just, there was a huge standing ovation for an extremely long period of time. We all just stood on stage, and it was just this kind of, it was too overwhelming to really tell what was going on, but it was huge and exciting and scary. But then, yes, I had this moment in New York. I guess I must have been doing press here, or maybe I must have been. And I remember trotting around New York like a lonely girl from Australia, thinking everything was exciting. Oh, there's steam coming out of the road. There's a yellow cab. All the cliches. And these two very gay guys came up to me and just kind of fawned over me and squealed and like kept touching me and telling me how amazing the film was. And I thought, hang on a cotton picking minute, I am on the other side of the world, and these people actually know who I am, what this film is. Holy shit.
Holy shit, indeed. And then that kind of, that movie was an immediate door opener for you. It changed your life in every possible way, right? What was that experience like?
So long ago now. I mean, it was... I started doing a lot of travelling. I started having meetings with producers and directors, and all kinds of doors were opening career-wise. And it was super exciting. I felt incredibly lucky, and just being able to travel and meet so many talented people, and just the amount of opportunities I got, it was nothing I could ever have dreamed up. Like, you wouldn't expect, none of us would expect, none of us expected. We're 25 years later, we're still sitting here watching it. It's, we did not go into the film thinking this would be the outcome. So yes, it still surprises me.
Looking back at the movie tonight, were there moments where you remembered things? I mean, usually probably when you watch a movie, you're remembering what was happening that day or what was going on. And there were a couple of improv moments I heard, and a few little things. What can you tell us about some of those moments that you were thinking about tonight? And I know, wasn't there one on the postcard?
Oh, yes.
Yes, Dan, you.
Look, unfortunately, my improvised line is, P.S. I'm a big fat slobby whale.
You're getting it wrong. It's P.S. I'm a fatso whale.
There you go. So that's not a great kind of calling card, but that was my line.
People are still quoting it. We went to the Guggenheim today, and I posted some pictures on Instagram. People are like, is that Muriel's brother? Oh my God. P.S. I'm a fatso whale.
Well, speaking of catchphrases, I mean, how often have you heard some of those catchphrases? It must be crazy to be associated with something like that.
Yeah, between You're Terrible Muriel and I See Dead People, I don't know how I get around. But it's so touching. I think when it was closer to the release of the film, it got a bit like, oh, Jesus, okay, huh, yeah. But, you know, over the years, it has just become this beautiful moment between people who adore the movie and find this character, you know, to be all the things that I hope she would be. And it's a really sweet thing that happens, yeah.
And also you went through that journey with Rachel Griffiths. In case anyone's wondering why she's the Prime Minister right now, she's back in Canberra filming Rachel Perkins' project called Black, B-I-T-C-H, I won't say. And she is the Prime Minister. Yeah, she is the Prime Minister. So She was very sorry not to be here tonight. But what was that relationship like? The two of you went on that journey together, right?
Oh yeah, I'm so thankful that I had her, because to do it alone might have been too much. We were just kind of shipped out into the world, and we sailed around, and we learnt so much together and had so many experiences together. We really travelled the entire world, doing publicity for the film, which was a completely new thing for both of us. She was much better at it. But even when we were making the film, we kind of assumed these roles, and it actually kind of continued. I kind of, for a very long time, looked up to her. She's a little older. She felt more herself. I was still kind of forming. And she was so articulate and impressive and sexy and confident, and just so much fun. I mean, I can't even tell you a lot of the things I was thinking while the film was playing. But I can say I am so thankful that I had her to share it with, because it was a lot.
And what about the Heslov family on screen? Have you guys crossed paths many times, all of you, other than you two? I know Jeannie's been around here and there, and
when I first started going to LA, I used to stay with her, with she and her family. I haven't seen her in a while. I would love to. I wish she was here tonight. I wish everyone was here tonight.
She's in Sydney and sent her love.
Oh, thank you.
We did try and round up some of the band. And Dan Lepane, he's in London.
And PJ, I mean, this is his story, man, and it's him. It's his spirit. It's his ridiculous sense of humour, and it's his pain. And I really wish he was here. He would be blown away.
So were there any other anecdotes that you can remember while you were filming that we should know about? Come on, there's got to be some stories behind the scenes.
I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Trying on
so
all those
much
wedding
eating.
dresses?
There was a lot of, sweating in taffeta. It was just it really was an incredible experience. It was so positive, and it was, like Rach said, it just, it was career forming for a lot of people. It was very freeing, just kind of opened my life up completely in ways I could never have imagined. Shooting it, oh God, it was such an undertaking. But man, I was bouncing out of bed early in the morning. I couldn't wait to get there. And I guess on the good ones, that's what it's like. You wake up before the alarm.
Okay, so we're going to go and have a drink, because I think that's what Toni and Dan need right now. We have time for one or two quick questions, if anybody has one. Yes?
Has there ever been talk of any sequel?
Oh, someone asked about a sequel down here.
I don't think there's going to be a sequel. There is a musical. It's only been on in Australia thus far. I was slightly trepidatious about it. I went to see it. We went together. It is so incredible. I have nothing to gain from saying this. I hope it travels the entire world. It's so beautiful. The new music that's written for it, there's ABBA in it, of course, but the new music just elevates it so gorgeously. It was very surreal watching that.
PJ had talked about a sequel called Perry Goes to Japan.
I forgot about this.
But I don't think it's going to happen.
I did another film with PJ called Mental, which is kind of goes hand in hand with this film.
Yeah.
It's also
One more quick question. There was another
in the world
hand
of
up
his
here
family.
somewhere.
There's a bearded man up there.
Okay, you choose. Yes.
Hi, I am one of those screaming gays who loves you. Oh, hi. I was just saying, I'm one of those screaming gays who would squeal over you, just like I am now. A fun question. I wanted to know what both of your favourite ABBA songs were.
Are you Mamma Mia
I know
or
too
Dancing
many,
Queen?
too many. I've got too many.
I mean, Dancing Queen does tend to follow me around, and I am extremely fond of it. I don't turn it off when it comes on.
Who doesn't?
I'm a My Mamma Mia guy. That's me.
The fact that you're saying it with a question mark means he has no fucking clue. My kids love the film Mamma Mia and Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. They haven't seen this film, can you guess why? And so I hear a lot of ABBA, and I actually don't think I can reduce it to 2.
Can you figure out what age they're going to be when you're going to let them see Muriel?
Or The Sixth Sense. Or Hereditary.
Hereditary, never.
How old are they going to be when they see that?
All right, we have Chris Beale, who's coming back up here just for a minute before we wrap up with a special announcement.
You won the hearts of so many Australians with Muriel, and you've gone on to move audiences all over the world. So for your leading role in what was a transformative film for the Australian industry, and for the groundbreaking work you've done internationally, the Screen Forum would like to present you with a Pioneering Woman in Film Award.
I'm already finding it a little difficult to be articulate. Thank you for having us here to celebrate this film, which it is a great Australian film, and it was the genesis of my experience in filmmaking. I'm not very good at receiving compliments, but thank you. I would like to thank PJ specifically, because it did really kick things off, for believing in me. It's that simple. I was delivering pizzas before this movie, and it really did change everything. I've been so fortunate in the opportunities that I've been given. I'm so fucking jet-lagged. And as cliched as it sounds, I am so truly grateful. I could never have dreamed it up. I'm very flattered and obviously very moved. I'm going to drink some tequila now. Good night.
And we're going to a Chinese restaurant to celebrate.
Irony of ironies, we're going to eat Chinese.
So everybody can say, what a coincidence, Deirdre Chambers.